Alright, so this concept that we're going to talk about today is heavily used in the games that we're going to create. So Bounce, Pong, games like that. This is where the concept of binding comes in. Alright, so I'm going to modify this code, okay, and trust me over here, I know what I'm doing. And once I modify the code, I'll quickly show you why I did so and what does it do. So we right now have button1 is equal to button, root text is equal to click me. I'm going to delete this command, alright? We no longer need this command for this new version. And in our def print name, I want you to go ahead and type in the parameter event, alright? So button1 is equal to button, root, comma, text is equal to click me. And def print name now has a parameter called event, okay? Now, the last thing is, I want you to add this function, button1.bind. And then in the bind function, write the following statement. In quotation marks, button1. Sorry, not in quotation marks, actually in alligator mouths. So quotation, alligator mouth, button1. And then we have over here, print name. Alright, so again, this code does look a little bit confusing, but let me explain what's happening. So we removed our command parameter from our button. All right. So right now, if you click the button, we haven't specified anywhere that we want this function to be performed. Now, this whole concept of binding comes from events. All right. So when a key is pressed, if I hit the arrow key, that is an event. If I hit the mouse key, it's an event. If I hit the spacebar key to make a character jump, it's an event. All right. And all these events you can track, okay? You can track these events, what's happening. For example, in our games that we're going to create, if the user hits the up arrow key, we want our guy to move up. So how do we know what's happening? Well, this is where the bind function comes in. And the bind function takes 3 or 4 parameters, but here are 2. The first parameter is, what should we be looking for, all right? What are we binding? And here we're saying if our left mouse is clicked, that left mouse, this clicking function, if the left button of our mouse is clicked, then we want to perform the function print name. So think of it as we have binded the left click action to the print name function. All right, left click action to the print name function. All right, it rhymes, but it makes sense. All right. So button1.bind takes in 2 parameters, where the first parameter is what event do you want to be performed. For example, we could do the exact same thing with our arrow keys. There is a specific key which tracks to see if the up arrow key, down arrow key, right arrow key is pressed, and then we can go ahead and perform print name if so. All right. Again, we'll talk about this more in the gaming section. Right now, I just wanted to show you how it works. And we put the event parameter in here so that the bind function will work, because the print name will only work if there is an event happening. So Command S, F5, let's go ahead and run this. And now if you notice, over here, let me just expand this a bit. Click me, click me, click me. Pretty cool, right? So every time I click on this button, this bind function occurs. Button1 gets triggered because we have now left clicked our mouse. Print name occurs, and hello there Avinash happens. So if you were able to see my shell, I'm not sure if you were. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Yes, you were. Awesome. So you can go ahead and try out. There is a list of bind keys. Again, you can find out what are they for the arrow keys, for the WASD, spacebar, etc., etc. Go ahead, play around with the bind function, and I'll see you in the next lecture.